Hello and welcome to Creature Club. It's a weekly podcast all about the monsters of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Daniel, I'm your host, and I'm joined by your other hosts, Mikey.
Sup, how are you?
There he is, and Tim.
Hello, I'm also here.
Yes, we're all here, we're all not dead yet, and we're taking a break from demons, as we said we would in the Demons episode, and we're going to talk about the next non-massive multi-monster list topic. Well, almost, but we tried our best.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week we're talking about dinosaurs.
Woo! Bit of dinos.
Woo!
Everybody loves dinosaurs.
I love it.
So,
I'm a bit. Just want to let you. I just want to let people know. By the way, this episode I'm going to be very sleepy because I busted my thumb against a ladder. It's really sore. I have my hand in an ice bag right now, and I am
I shouldn't laugh, sorry.
stoned on painkillers right now. So whatever.
Yeah, we're
Just letting you guys know.
we're battered and bruised, but we're going to push through because we want to bring you the content that you guys deserve.
yes,
Exactly.
Powerful, strong, immortal. Maybe not.
Fantastic. I did watch Jurassic Park yesterday. You guys watched highlight reels, is that right?
I think Tim watched it as well. But he also sent me some wonderful abridged versions of Jurassic Park, which is sort of like.
Well, we all know
mandatory
what
viewing.
happens. Jurassic Park. It's a theme park.
Yep.
And something happens, and then the dinosaurs attack.
And
It's a
someone
good film.
says, shoot
Great film.
her, and that's a big pile of shit or something.
There's a bit where Jeff Goldblum lies on a table with his shirt off, and
Yes.
Yes.
it's very sexy.
And he runs away from a T-Rex at one point with a flare.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true. He also
Yes.
waves a flare at the Tyrannosaurus Rex right before then. It's very exciting. It's an exciting movie, so anybody who hasn't seen Jurassic Park, we highly recommend it. As like,
Yeah, watch that before you listen to this. If you haven't seen it.
or you could
good
watch
film.
it while listening to this because they're probably going to be around about the same length of time. You know,
That's, in fairness, it wouldn't be a bad idea if it's a bit of a slow bit in Jurassic Park, you just kind of turn down Jurassic Park and turn up Creature Club slightly.
Yeah.
And then when the action picks up, you kind of turn us down a bit and turn back to Jurassic Park and go like,
Oh man.
yeah, being able to look at real dinosaurs, well, real fake dinosaurs, while
Real fake dinosaurs.
while listening to us talk about real fake fictional fantasy dinosaurs.
yes.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of stat blocks here for dinosaurs in the 5th edition First Monster Manual.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go too much into the history of it because, to be honest with you, you guys should know that. They're big reptiles that existed billions of years ago, and we've dug up their bones, and they're big and they're cool. That's really it.
Yeah.
They're
And I will frequently
They
interject
got
with the eras. I will frequently name them off during the episode so everybody remembers. The Mesozoic, Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous were the primary ones. So I'll remind you a couple times during the episode that is what they are because that's my job this week.
Yes.
Cool.
They were killed by a meteor or ice or
Volcano.
something. I don't know.
Who knows?
Or
Which is pretty
Transformers,
weird that
depending on...
one meteor can kill a bunch of dinosaurs. Was it that big?
It was more like it killed a lot of dinosaurs, but it also altered the atmosphere. It was so big.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So like
Makes
it
sense.
like changed the like chemical makeup of the air and stuff like that. And so like there used to be more oxygen so bigger creatures could survive, and now there's less. So they had to shrink. So the small mammals that we descended from did, and the dinosaurs didn't.
Also, the birds did because they could just fly around.
Yeah.
They just did a big dodge. They did a barrel roll and avoided the meteor, which is like the obvious thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Or, as Arnold Schwarzenegger playing Mr. Freeze in the hit film Batman and Robin.
Yeah, of course.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Ice
that's what he says.
Age.
So maybe he's onto something there. Maybe he's onto
Maybe,
something.
I mean, he's a brilliant scientist. So.
Truly.
That's
He's a doctor.
Brilliant
Is it Dr.
scientist.
Freeze?
Well, he goes by
Dr.
Mister,
Freeze.
but he is technically he is a doctor. But I
Yeah,
can't remember his
Mr.
name.
Freezes are those
Victor
ice pops
something?
that we have here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tasty, tasty. Good old Mr. Freeze.
Maybe Dr.
Yeah,
Freeze. Whatever. Cool. So, Daniel, you looked into a little bit of the history in D&D
Yes.
of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I won't linger on too much because we do have a lot of stat blocks to go through, but very briefly, dinosaurs as a real kind of monster, effectively, they've been around for as long as D&D has. One of the really cool things is there was a module called the Isle of Dread, which was when they released the Dungeons and Dragons expert set, which was basically when they got Dungeons and Dragons and built wilderness exploration rules into it. They released that, and every copy came with a copy of Isle of Dread as an example wilderness exploration module, basically, so you could learn what wilderness exploration looked like. And basically the module was really heavily inspired by like King Kong. So the idea is like the adventurers go to a distant island and it's full of like massive creatures and like, you know, native people who are sort of very separated from the rest of the world. And there's like dinosaurs, and there's also some other cool monsters there. Like there is the what's their name? They are the Phanatons, and they're a cross between a raccoon and a monkey, and I mean, honestly, they're pretty adorable. It's not relevant. I just thought I'd let you know. But yeah, so and they've been in every edition of the game since, unsurprisingly. The Isle of Dread has actually been sort of an important locate. Well, not important, but it's been a location that's featured throughout history. It's been referenced in other adventures, and in the Dungeon Master's Guide, the 5th edition Dungeon Master's Guide, which you can pick up and read if you have one nearby, it's described as being part of the Plane of Water, the Isle of Dread from the adventure. But it says that it has the ability to appear in the material plane like momentarily, very mysterious, which is kind of cool, in case you want to bring that classic adventure into your modern setting. The Isle of Dread is basically sort of a big island full of dinosaurs, bad monsters, and stuff like that. Pretty standard stuff, but it's pretty cool, and it's interesting just to think that like it's like it was released with a version of the game, so it's one of the most widely used adventure modules ever released.
Wow. And it probably leans into the old adventuring side if it is about wandering a wilderness. That would be a very cool kind of campaign. You could do a West Marches kind of thing very successfully with that, I think. Right?
Probably, yeah. You could probably like steal it and use it as a basis. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and you can find that online. I believe it's on the Dungeon Masters Guild, but I don't know for sure. But either way, it's pretty cool, and it's kind of fun to read. It's nice to read up on these old adventures and learn about like how people approached D&D when it was still very new. Because now obviously we all sort of almost like all the professionals like know how to approach D&D, whereas back then it was more experimental, which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes is a bad thing, but it's cool overall. Anyway.
Yeah.
And nowadays enough people know about it that we can come up with a podcast and have a relatively small regular audience. Which is just great.
And like and what I think is cool is like, you know, what's one of my favorite things about D&D is this weird, like, I think I talked to this with a friend of the podcast, Jack Clinton, recently. I love that sort of sense of that there's this cool like history you can access, and it's like, you know, this adventure, the Isle of Dread, was only published in like 1981. It's only like whatever 30 years old, almost 40 years old. But like it feels so different to what we have now, and like there's going to be so many players who have no idea what it is or what it means, and so it would be so interesting to like get that adventure. Maybe even like it'd be cool if Wizards did this, like retooled it into 5th edition, and then like see how it holds up, see what little weird idiosyncrasies it has that we find really interesting, that maybe were really normal at the time, or like things we took for granted in adventures that don't show up in this one. Because obviously the Isle of Dread is full of treasure. That's why people go into adventures back in the day.
I'll be so behind like a Tales of the Yawning Portal 2, where you put in this.
More tales.
Just more, you know, like more old adventures just for 5th edition, you know.
Yeah. The B-sides of the Tales of the Yawning Portal.
Yeah. Let's move on to meat and
It's gonna be a
potatoes.
big time in Dinner Town.
Yeah.
And a short interjection to remind you that it is the Mesozoic, Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods.
Yeah.
All right, welcome everybody to the next part of the show. Let's do this. Let's just read out some stuff here. All right. So the first one is the Allosaurus. The Allosaurus, what does that look like for everybody? Let's describe him. I have a picture here. He's kind of like a T-Rex.
They're kind of like mini Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah.
They're like smaller, and they have those kind of weird kind of crests over their eyes that are kind of like horns. Yeah.
I just got pictures of bones here.
Their description gives
The bones.
yeah. Their description here gives a nice visual description of them.
Sure.
It's the Allosaurus is a predator possessing great size, strength, and speed. It can run down almost any prey over open ground, pouncing to pull creatures down with its wicked claws.
Ah.
Wow.
So
That
it
sounds
is.
kind of scary.
Yeah. So it is well, dinosaurs are pretty scary, man. But it's a large beast, unaligned, of course. He has an armor class of 13, natural armor, hit points 51, 60 10s plus 18, and he has a speed of 60 feet. So that's going with its speed that it has. It's a fast boy. So he's gonna try and pounce on you. So that's pretty scary. 60 feet is fast. So he has 19 strength, 13 dexterity, 17 constitution, 2 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and 5 charisma. So it's a beast stat block there, but it's a pretty strong beast stat line.
Yeah. The 12 wisdom is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Just that it's like not just kind of like 8 or 10, that it's kind of an animal and it has a bit of cunning. It's like maybe a little bit smart even. It could even like outmaneuver the party, which could be an interesting encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think they gave all of them a relatively high wisdom, except for a pterodon apparently, because they were peak predators basically. Like they were the guys that won at that point basically. Like Allosaurus, as I just found out, were from the late Jurassic period. And let me just quickly remind everyone, it's the Mesozoic, it's the Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. So late Jurassic means that this guy, he evolved pretty gosh diggity darn well, essentially. Like, this guy has survived quite a bit, so giving him that kind of cunning is kind of, I suppose, the
animal cunning.
And I'd say that this is indicative of the growth of intelligence. Like you have to be able to have the guile before you can read the situation. Like if your instincts tell you to do something and it's correct, then you will survive another day. So they kind of learn, I think. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like giving them that wisdom is always a nice way to make it seem like they can get organized when it's a wild animal in particular. And this is like a wild ancient animal. So yeah, that all makes sense for me.
Yeah.
Intelligence and charisma, not great.
They're as wise as a human. As a regular peasant man. Cool. So skills, perception, +5. Senses, passive perception, 15. Languages, none. Not even dinosaur. Challenge rating, 2. 450 experience points. So you can put them in your pocket when you beat one of these guys. He has a ability, Pounce, as Tim read out earlier on. He can do Pounce. So if the Allosaurus moves at least 30 feet straight towards a creature and then hits it with a claw attack on the same turn, that target must succeed a DC 13 saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the Allosaurus can make one bite attack against it as a bonus action. So, wow, bang.
Ooh.
Snap, bang. He's going to pounce on you. He's going to try and bite you. He's going to eat you. That's pretty scary. Actions: bite, melee weapon attack, +6 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit 15 or 2d10s +4 piercing damage, and a claw attack, +6 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit 8, 1d8 +4 slashing damage. So, bam, there you go.
Nice.
That's the Allosaurus. So he's the fast, pouncy, scary guy.
I wonder why they gave him that. Like, I presume that the pounce would be for the raptors. Maybe is a Velociraptor in its Jurassic Park form basically copyrighted? Because nowadays we know that, like, what are they called? I just said it. Velociraptors were just these little chicken boys, the little like turkey-sized chicken boys.
Yeah, I think.
And like, what they're actually based on is Deinonychus.
Yeah,
which
maybe
is a
they
much
kind
more
of
dangerous
looked
animal.
into it like, oh, allosauruses are a lot more like the romanticized, I guess, version of velociraptors. Sorry, I didn't know what they were called either. I lost the name too.
You guys are you guys good or
Yeah, well, I'm in pain, man. Sorry.
I think we're both a bit tired. Yeah.
no? Yeah, you have an
I have
excuse.
no excuse.
So maybe they're like, oh, allosaurs are a lot. Maybe that's why they didn't put velociraptors in here into the first one anyway, because it's in Vola's Guide to Monsters. So yeah, maybe these guys are supposed to be those kind of velociraptors.
Cool. Nice.
They're pretty big for velociraptors, though.
You can just
Yeah,
do
large.
the clever girl scene. Mm-hmm. That'll be cool.
I wasn't going to reference it that early, but okay. Yeah, I like the Allosaurus. It's interesting that it has kind of the pounce rule. That means that it wants to use its claw attack so that it can also use its bite kind of for free, but its bite deals a lot more damage. So I don't know. That's interesting. I'm not sure. Like,
I think it's rolling for extra damage. You know, like taking a chance that you might actually do a significant amount of damage.
What's interesting as well is that it sort of separates out the ability so that it says it moves if it moves at least 30 feet, it attacks a creature and hits them with the claw in the same turn. They make a strength saving throw or they are knocked prone. But then separately it says if they are prone, the Allosaurus can make a bite attack as a bonus action. So arguably, if it moves at least 30 feet and makes a claw attack, but they're prone anyway, you get the bite. Sort of a small thing. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Because of the way the ability is worded, like it doesn't say like if the target is knocked prone.
Yeah, like you
Which would
aren't
be the
pouncing
distinction.
on the target you just knocked prone. You're pouncing onto the target, and if the target that you just pounced on is prone, the Allosaurus can make a bite attack against the bonus action. I think that's what it's saying. Maybe. It's a little tricky.
Like it basically like it doesn't. It's such a niche case. It doesn't really matter. But I'm purely thinking like what might be how this might come up, and maybe this informs how the Allosaurus operates. If two of them attacked in the same turn, and the first one knocked you prone, the second one could still benefit from their pounce ability.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It doesn't say that they're pack animals or if they're.
No, it doesn't mention. It's reasonable to assume that they're big enough that they're probably solitary predators generally. But I guess the players could always just piss them off or something like that. They have an excellent habit of doing so. So
Yeah, like when you're on Dinosaur Island, your random encounter table is like 2d6 Allosaurus, and you have to find more than one of them. So instead of just if you're
That'd
right,
be a hell of a lot of Allosaurus.
challenge rating 2, that's
well, yeah.
finding one of them at level 2, but you
they can just run away. It's fine.
yeah, you probably wouldn't be on Dinosaur
I mean, they
Island
can't because they're faster than them, but you know.
at that level. Yeah, cool. All right.
Okay, next up is the Ankylosaurus. This guy's huge. He's a hug beast, just like the Balor.
Shall we read out the little paragraph first before we go into stat block?
Oh yes. Go ahead.
Thick armor plating covers the body of the plant-eating Ankylosaurus, which defends itself against predators with a knobbed tail that delivers a devastating strike. Some varieties of Ankylosaurus have spiked tails that deal piercing damage instead of bludgeoning damage. Oh, there you go. That's pretty interesting. So yeah, these guys are those kind of weird, strong turtle shell looking guys with the big kind of club tail. Just for what you guys want.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Dan.
I'm surprised they're huge. It was anything I was going to say. Just I didn't think they were that big. But I guess it's hard. I mean, I guess in fairness, I think a horse is technically large, so that probably makes sense. Armor class 15, which is all natural armor. It has 68 hit points, which is 8d12 plus 16 from their Constitution modifier. They have 30 feet speed, so they're about as fast as a normal player. So they have 19 strength, which is on par with the Allosaurus. 11 dexterity, 15 constitution, 2 intelligence. Oh, right, sorry. The Allosaurus actually had the same. 12 wisdom again, and another 5 charisma. So it seems like they're doing a thing where the dinosaurs have pretty similar like mental stats, which probably makes sense. But that's interesting. They have no skill training, so senses are just passive perception of 11, so they're pretty easy to creep by. They don't speak any languages, not even dinosaur. Challenge rating 3, which is worth 700 experience points. And they have no abilities, and they have a single action, which is tail. Melee weapon attack plus 7 to hit. That's not bad. Reach is 10 feet, one target. 18 or 46 plus 4 if you like to roll. Bludgeoning damage if they are... sorry, it's like... If the target is a creature, okay, fair enough, it must succeed on a DC 14 strength saving throw or be knocked prone. Like, if the target is a creature, if it's an object, objects can't be knocked prone. Like, that's called destroying the object.
Yeah.
Like,
if it's a
if you knock my house over sideways, then you haven't knocked my house prone. You've killed my house.
Oh, I'm going to do a shove action on your house. Is that all right?
No. Oh, it's knocked prone. It has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
I can do a fireball on the house now. And
something.
Easily.
No. Oh, no. So this is like as short as it gets in terms of stat blocks.
Yeah, he's a herbivore.
No abilities.
He doesn't bite.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And the only thing it has to defend itself is the tail, so kind of makes sense.
I think some of the ankylosauruses that you can see kind of artist rendering of online would give them the kind of spikes as well. So maybe I'd say if you want to grapple it, you have like disadvantage on any grappling checks that you have. Although you won't really be grappling a huge creature.
Yeah, it's huge. You can't really grapple
him. It's worth saying that I think the rules of 5th edition mean that like if you are like 2 sizes smaller than something, you just can't grapple it because it's just bigger than you. Mm-hmm. So if you, I guess, you could say if you're big enough, but maybe the idea is that because it's huge, it probably won't come up, and they're probably not spiky enough that it matters in terms of grappling, because grappling is only done necessarily with like one hand. So if you're just like holding its leg,
you're just giving it a head, putting it in a headlock and giving it a nuggie. Yeah.
But yeah, that might be something to consider, like depending on what you have. You could even have like those sort of like almost like an aura of spike damage. Like if it moves, things within 5 feet have to like roll a dex save or take some damage.
Because it's
just pointy and big, and it's not really paying attention.
And its big tail is just swinging around out there.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But overall, very simple stat block. Mm-hmm. So we move on to the Plesiosaurus.
Yes, go ahead, Tim.
A plesiosaurus is a marine dinosaur whose compact body is driven by powerful flippers. Predatory and aggressive, it attacks any creature it encounters. Its flexible neck accounts for 1/3 of its total length, letting it twist in any direction to deliver a powerful bite. So yeah, there you go. It's an underwater aquatic creature. Not quite a what do they call the Leopleurodon, but the plesiosaur is kind of the next most popular, I think, underwater animal. So a plesiosaur is a large beast, unaligned. Armor class is 13, which is natural armor. Hit points 68, HD 10 plus 24. Its speed is 20 foot over land, and swim is 40 foot.
I'm surprised how fast it can move above land.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say that it has very much capacity. I would probably bump that down if you wanted realism.
Yeah, I don't know how well they move above land, but it certainly surprised me. Sorry, Tim, please continue.
Yes. Strength 18, Dex 15, Con 16, Intelligence 22, not 22.
22! I've studied
it all.
When he's in a fight, he has over 1 million IQ.
Wisdom 12, Charisma 5. So it sticks to the 2-12-5 for the mental stats, and its con I think is similar, but its strength is slightly lower. So yeah, I think they just kind of mixed it up a little bit for every single one. Its skills are Perception +3 and Stealth +4. It has passive perception of 13. It doesn't speak any languages, and it is challenge rating 2.
Not even dinosaur.
Not even dinosaur. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It has one ability, which is hold its breath. The plesiosaurus can hold its breath for 1 hour, which is a bizarre thing to give a swimmy monster. Alright, cool. Anyway, actions. It can bite. Melee weapon attack +6 to hit. Reach 10 feet, 1 target. Hit is 14 or 3d6 +4 piercing damage. So yeah, that's an unusual ability to give an underwater creature. But I suppose it is kind of relatively consistent with the whole like not everything in the sea is a fish. Like there's a lot of mammals.
True, yeah.
Like whales and dolphins still need to breathe. So I take back what I said.
Yeah,
I think
maybe
they're
it's just-
absolutely wonderful.
Let's see. The Plesiosaurus. Does it say anything about him in history? Oh, never mind. I just accidentally clicked out of it. I don't want to look it up again. It's fine. But yeah, probably like...
The Plesiosaurus is Lapras.
Yes.
Ah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yes. Yes. It is. You can...
Yeah.
Well, we'll go into that at the dessert time. But yes, all these things will be fantastic mounts. But let's we'll go into that later. So the next boy...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I just forgot to mention for the Ankylosaurus, he is from the end of the Cretaceous period, and the Plesiosaurus is from the Mesozoic era. So there you go.
Ah. Thank you, Tim. So the next one is the pterodon. These flying reptiles have wingspans of 15 to 20 feet and typically dive for small marine prey, though they're opportunists and will attack at any creature that appears edible. Pterodon has no teeth, instead using a sharp beak to stab prey too large to swallow with one gulp. So yeah, they peck at you. So they're those flying dinosaurs. Like if you think about a flying dinosaur, it's probably the first one that comes to your head. So it's true though. It's true. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I don't want to assume
anything
for the listeners.
Yeah, the Pteranodons kind of had the big horn at the back. Like the pterosaurs are the kind of group for the pterodactyl, the pteranodon, all those. I think there is one other large one that I can't remember off the top of my head that everybody would know. But yeah, pteranodon. A nice big fly boy that pokes things with its face.
Right. So the pteranodon is a medium beast, unaligned. So he is not. It has no allegiance to any of the forces, be it chaotic or lawful, good or evil. This guy doesn't want anything to do with that. So there you go. Armor class 13, natural armor. Hit points 13, 3d8s. Speed 10 feet on the ground and 60 feet flying. Makes sense. They can kind of waddle around. I remember that in the Jurassic Park movies. I think it was in Jurassic Park 3 where they fought a bunch of these in a cage. That film was not very good. Strength 12 plus 1. Dex 15. Constitution 10. Intelligence 2. Wisdom 9. And Charisma 5. So, yeah. These guys are, a little bit squishier, but that's fine. Skills perception plus 1. Senses passive perception 11. Languages nothing. Not even dinosaur.
Not even dinosaur.
Yeah. Challenge rating quarter. 50 experience. Flyby. The pteranodon doesn't provoke any opportunity attacks when it flies out of an enemy's reach. Ooh, that's and that's going to be something. And he has a bite attack, melee weapon attack, plus 3 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, hit 6 or 2d4 plus 1 piercing damage. So they peck you with their beaks and they try and eat you. So yeah,
ouchie.
So these are like interesting. They're like a sort of a low level, like a low CR kind of swarm type enemy in opposition to all the kind of bigger enemies that the dinosaurs have.
Yeah.
But of course, as we all know, like harassing a low level party with flying enemies, especially flying enemies that don't provoke attacks of opportunity, is actually in breach of the Geneva Convention because of it is considered gross cruelty.
Exceptionally cruel.
Yeah.
You probably
do I get an opportunity attack? Oh, sorry, no, it has a special ability. You don't.
Yeah, that's just kind of not cool.
It is a fine ability to have, but it's. I think the thing is that it just means that it has a fly speed that is double the move speed of most players. It doesn't. They don't get opportunity attacks after it's finished attacking them, and the only kind of upsides are that it's not very hard to hit, and it's not actually very good at attacking you. It only has a +3 to hit, so you're probably all right. But it's just I don't know.
It's strange that it's what is perception based on? Is that wisdom?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have proficiency in wisdom, so that their perception is slightly higher. But these guys hunted from the sky. I would have thought that their perception would be a little bit better, I think of all the things that you would probably be ambushed by in a big dinosaur forest, I think these guys flying out of a tree and pecking the shit out of you is probably more likely than not.
Well,
Like you're going to stumble across these guys, and then they're going to see you before you see them, I'd presume.
yeah,
I would be inclined to agree, Tim. I think if you wanted to kind of capture that, a really easy way to do that would be there's an ability that a lot of enemies have called keen sight, which is that they have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. So you could actually swap out flyby with that, and that would give them a better perception when they're like looking for prey.
Yeah,
which would make sense given that they're like aerial predators.
yeah. It makes sense that they have higher perception because like what they do is they fly around looking for something to eat. That's just kind of they've evolved to be like that. So keen sense would be a good one to put in there.
Yeah. Also, the fact that it uses also its bite damage is just weird. Why is it 2d4 plus 1?
Yeah. It's
like it's not a problem or anything.
by
It's just,
2 daggers.
yeah, it's like it's just a little. I just thought it was strange that it was 2d4. Like 2d4 is about the same as a d8, although it's like a little better. It's less swingy, but it's more like consistent. So in other words, you're more likely to get results in the middle of 1 to 8. Obviously, you can't get 2 if you're rolling 2 dice. Sorry, you can't get 1 if you're rolling 2 dice.
Oh, I wonder why they decided to go with bite as well instead of peck.
Yeah, I guess it's just a generic mouth attack sort of description.
Mouth attack.
Like,
yeah.
I think like birds and owls also technically have like bites instead of pecks. I think I could be wrong.
All right.
It might just be like, oh, if it's using its mouth, it's a bite. If it's using its like hands, it's a claw or whatever. Like sort of like generified rather than sort of. I guess it doesn't really matter one way or the other, but maybe that's why. But yeah, that's already. I just thought 2d4 was an interesting choice in terms of damage dice.
Yeah, it's unusual, all right.
Like I suppose in fairness, all the big dinosaurs get multiple dice. Like the Allosaurus has like 2d10 on its bite, which is very cool. The tail of the Ankylosaurus is 4d6, which is like quite good. The Plesiosaurus gets 3d6 on a bite. So maybe they were just like, oh, like dinosaurs get multiple dice for their attacks. Maybe that was kind of like a design thing they liked.
Yeah.
And they wanted to keep his damage really low because he's challenge rating a quarter.
Because he is still a low challenge rating monster. So maybe that was the reasoning. But yeah, it's interesting because like I would have, because it's a medium creature, like I would have assumed it would be like a d6 bite because I think like that's what like dogs and stuff have. But whatever,
Yeah, it might be.
just kind of an idle thought.
Yeah, it does seem like a kind of a strange block there. Maybe 1d6 bite actually sounds like a good idea, but I don't know. I don't really know what their intentions were with that. I kind of agree with you on that one, Dan.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I think someone pointed out that like the thing about D4 is that like you never really want an ability to make you use like more than a very small number of D4s because they're kind of fiddly to roll, and because they don't like bounce or anything, they just kind of land because they're like pyramid shaped.
Yeah,
they're not as like satisfying. Like 2d6 is way more fun than 2d4.
Yeah.
I know that's very subjective, and I know that's also not what D&D is about, but just like, something like that I thought was interesting, the idea that like, especially when you give like players abilities, you should be careful about giving them D4s because they're just kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah,
D&D is definitely about
numbering
just rolling
on
dice, though. Daniel.
So it's a little bit, yeah. I mean, the dice are important. They are a good, fun part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even like the numbering on D4s is inconsistent. Like nobody can decide how a D4 should be numbered.
That's
like some
a really good
some of them
point.
have them in the points, and some of them have them like in the middle of
the middle. Yeah.
It's crazy. So if you have to have all of the same dice to count quickly, or you have to like separate how they're all done, and inconsistent. I had an ability that rolled 10d4. I can't remember what it was, and I had that problem, and I was like, I see.
Yeah.
Never use this one again.
I will never use this ability again. But it's your best ability. I don't care.
Don't care.
I'll just roll half as many d8s. It'll be technically like arguably slightly worse, but it's fine.
It only does so much damage because it's so inconvenient. We need people to use this move. What can we do? Just throw more d4s at them.
That'd be pretty funny if it was like, an ability that's a good but really really inconvenient. Like you have to roll the dice, you have to roll them on the floor and then go pick them up. It's like, oh man, this is gonna take ages.
That might be a fun way to make spells, like to have the things that they are doing be awkward, like their somatic components have to be slightly strange.
Yeah.
So you just give them a bunch of d4s or like different kinds of dice.
Or like you'd like have a target and they have to roll the dice, and the closer they get to the middle, the better the damage is. That'd be fun. That'd be some fun, like weird spells for if you're doing like a one shot or something. That could be cool. All right, so sorry. Should we move on to the next dinosaur?
Sure.
What's this podcast about again?
Yeah. Sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay, Triceratops. It's the cool one. It's honestly probably my favorite. I know that's like a real, like, everyone likes it, but it's just cool. It's just, there's nothing like it now. Like, there's no animal that even looks slightly like a Triceratops. So I think it's just very exciting.
Like rhino, maybe, but not really as well.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, rhinos are, in fairness, rhinos are also pretty cool.
Yeah.
Rhinos, hippos, and elephants, all big, grey, interesting animals.
Yeah.
Triceratops, one of the most aggressive of the herbivorous dinosaurs. A Triceratops has a skull that flares out into form a protective plate of bone. With its great horns and formidable speed, a Triceratops gores and tramples would-be predators to death. All right, well, sort of. We were asking for a 4 and you brought a 10, but that's okay. Huge beast, unaligned. So, like the Ankylosaurus, it is gigantic. It's a big boy. Armor class 13. That's interesting. I thought it would be a lot higher.
Yeah.
It looks like everyone is 13, except for the Ankylosaurus, of course, because he has big plates.
Which kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Maybe the Triceratops is that way because it's like 11 natural armor, and he has a shield that is his own face, so he has +2.
Sorry, I didn't expect that. But that is a fair point. Okay. Armor class 13, 95 hit points, which is 10d12 plus 30. That's pretty good. And it's got a 50-foot speed, so it's faster than most of the party, but is a little slower than the Allosaurus. So it has a strength of 22, 9 dexterity, 17 constitution, 2 intelligence, 11 wisdom, and 5 charisma. It only has a passive perception of 10. It has no skill training. It doesn't speak any languages, not even Sylvan. Gotcha. And it is a challenge rating 5 monster. Thank you. It has a special ability, trampling charge. If the Triceratops moves at least 20 feet, so this is kind of like the Allosaurus ability, but doesn't have to move as far, straight towards creature and then hits with its gore attack on the same turn, the target must succeed a DC 13, same DC, strength saving throw, or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the Triceratops can make 1 stomp attack against it as a bonus action.
Same
so
issues.
These are some... Yeah, exact same, yeah. So these are some dangerous attacks. Actions, gore, melee weapon attack, +9 to hit. Reach 5 feet, 1 target. Hit 4d8 plus 6, or an average of 24 piercing damage. And it gets one of these for free if it knocks you over. Stomp, melee weapon attack, +9 to hit. Reach 5 feet. 1 prone creature. Now that's interesting. I love stuff like this, which I've mentioned before. Hit 3d10 plus 6, or 22 on average bludgeoning damage.
Okay. I like that. That stomp in particular, like the prone is definitely...
Yes, actually. So the trampling charge is interesting. It's sort of like the Allosaurus ability. It's got the 1-2 punch, but unlike the Allosaurus, it needs to successfully knock you prone to use its stomp ability. We had this before, actually. I mentioned this back in the, I don't know if you guys remember, in the homebrew special with the Doolahong, the sort of clockwork assassin.
Yeah.
He didn't have a stomp. He had like an execute ability where he'd use his bladed shield to cut off a creature's head.
Like coup de grace.
And it was exactly, yeah. And it had an ability like this that said like melee weapon attack, and it specifies in the formatting 1 prone creature, which I said then and still now. I really like stuff like that because it's just very elegant. And I know that's like a weird thing to like, but I just think like it's clever because like it's very obvious how it's used, and like, you don't need to add like a second sentence. It's all part of the one description. I always think that's very cool and elegant, and I really like that.
Yeah.
Totally. I think with the Allosaurus, with his pounce, it gives the claw more to do, because as you said before, it does pretty substantially less damage. So if you're going to just attack, always go for the bite. But this of predicates your being prone before you can be attacked by this. So that's strange.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a sort of a different ability, sort of similar but different. But yeah, it's interesting because like what I'm kind of thinking is like that would mean that like if, for example, a Triceratops charged a group of players, then assuming that they all kind of like if we assume that maybe there's a couple of like, you know, maybe a barbarian and a fighter that are staying close and attacking it in melee, then that means that like unless it doesn't gore them, it will never knock them prone because it has to use its trampling charge to knock them prone.
Yeah.
Like it could obviously shove them, but then if it shoves them, it doesn't get to do anything else, and then on their turn they just stand up. So like, yeah, so that's interesting because that basically means like, unlike the Allosaurus, who kind of, I can imagine, will basically like run in, hit you once with a claw, try and knock you prone, then bite it, and then probably just bite over and over again. It almost feels like the Triceratops kind of wants to like pinball around the group.
Yeah.
And try to like give everyone an opportunity to knock them over and stomp them. But if it can't do that, like the Allosaurus, it's just going to keep using its gore over and over again.
Yeah. I think that might be a kind of nod of the head to this guy isn't used to dealing with larger crowds. Like maybe he's just used to getting one guy, knocking it over, stomping them down. I'd imagine that because it is a herbivore, that it would probably just do that to deter its prey. Like it's not going to kill you and then eat you. It's probably just going to maim you and then run away itself.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It's a simple little 1-2 punch, and then it's going to bugger off somewhere else.
All right, Tim, you have the last dinosaur.
Triceratops is from the late Cretaceous period. And the last dinosaur is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Insert Tyrannosaurus Rex sound here.
You're going to actually do it?
Yeah, of course. There it is again.
I believe him.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. This enormous predator terrorizes all other creatures in its territory. Despite its size and weight, a Tyrannosaurus is a swift runner. It chases anything it thinks it can eat, and there are few creatures it won't try to devour whole. While prowling for substantial prey, a Tyrannosaurus subsists on carrion, and on smaller creatures that try to dart in to steal its meal. Wow. Hardcore. So that's the Tyrannosaurus we all know and love. Huge beast, unaligned, armor class 13, natural armor, hit points 136 or 13d12 plus 52. Speed is 50 feet. Strength is 25. Whew. Dexterity is 10, Constitution 19, Intelligence 12, Wisdom 10. Dang it. Intelligence 2, Wisdom 12, Charisma 9. Tim. Oh, he gave him charisma.
Yeah,
the Tyrannosaurus Rex is much more charismatic. That's why everybody loves him.
It's a T-Rex. Like, everyone...
I mean, in fairness, like, if any dinosaur was going to have the best charisma score, it was going to be the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Like...
True. It is trained in the skill of perception on a +4. Its passive perception is 14, and it doesn't speak any languages, not even cat. Challenge rating 8 or 3900 XP. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Actions. It doesn't have any special abilities, but it has a couple of actions. Action number 1, multi-attack. The Tyrannosaurus makes 2 attacks, one with its bite and one with its tail. It can't make both attacks against the same target. Okay, well that makes sense, I suppose. Bite. Melee weapon attack, +10 to hit, reach 10 foot, 1 target. Hit 33 damage, or 4d12 plus 7, piercing damage. If the target is a medium or smaller creature, it is grappled. Escape DC 17. Until this grapple ends, the target is restrained and the Tyrannosaurus can't bite another target. Its tail ability is a melee weapon attack +10, reach 10 foot, 1 target, and on a hit is 20 or 3d8 plus 7 bludgeoning damage. Now I think that's strange that it doesn't have the swallow ability. Like, it can't swallow your friends like most large creatures do. And it even says in its little descriptor that it tries to devour everything whole.
Well, with the swallow ability, it's usually with creatures that keep you in their belly alive. But a T-Rex, he would probably want to... You will probably die if you are swallowed by a T-Rex, or if you're chewed up.
Fair enough.
Usually swallows kind of with, like,
toads and stuff like that.
So the Tyrannosaurus Rex, he chews his food properly. Like, have you ever had a steak that you just had to kind of keep chewing and chewing? and if you swallowed it, you knew it was going to give you a tummy ache. The Tyrannosaurus Rex has that experience, and he knows that he should properly chew his food before swallowing. So there you go. His mammy taught him well.
Excellent.
Mammy Rex.
Mammy Rex. Yeah.
Get up to fuck.
So yeah, that's of course he's the last one there. T-Rex, the ultimate dinosaur.
The ultimate dinosaur.
The ultimate.
The ultimate killing machine.
The ultimate man.
So the T-Rex is great. It's got pissing loads of hit points.
Yeah.
It's the only dinosaur with a multi-attack, which is interesting in its own way.
Yeah.
And I actually really like the stipulation that it has to bite and tail a different creature.
Yeah.
Because that both like makes sense. Is fine, because if the T-Rex is fighting a party of adventurers, there will always be at least 2 targets, you can assume.
Yeah.
But also it's just like a nice stipulation that like even though the T-Rex deals a lot of damage, it is harder for it to kill a single party member straight away because it has to hit different creatures, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it also like makes sense for the creature and like feels thematically correct, like that it like goes into bite, you know, the plate mail fighter and starts like chewing on them. And he's like, now I know how a TV dinner feels. And then the like barbarian gets swatted by the tail. Like all that makes sense. Like you can envision it very easily.
Yeah.
I just imagined a paladin going up against a Tyrannosaurus Rex and him seeing this Tyrannosaurus Rex coming towards him. He's like, okay, he's going to bite me, going to jump out of the way. And if he manages to get away, he's like, I did it. And then the tail comes in and just whaps him across the side of the head. Yeah. Guy wearing armor. Yeah. I think that this episode is going to lend itself well to Monster Huntering My Monster, because these are the creatures that you fight in Monster Hunter.
Yeah, actually, that's true. Very true. Yeah, so speaking of which, shall we go on to dessert time?
I think we're happy to. Is there anything else anyone wants to say about the Tyrannosaurus Rex stat block? I think I do legitimately think it's really funny that it has a higher charisma score.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know why that is. I'm really curious. I would love to get an opportunity to ask the designers.
Yeah, maybe because it's like
so interesting.
He's the most intimidating in the the dinosaur
That's actually
world.
what I was thinking.
So
yeah.
when you're a dinosaur and you see a T-Rex, you're like, oh crap, and you run away, because even if you're carnivore or herbivore, you don't like a T-Rex near you.
I was actually thinking the same thing, DC. I was thinking like maybe the idea is like it's better at like intimidating other dinosaurs and stuff like that, and so that is a version of charisma, like presence and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So yeah, but yeah.
But it would probably also take you out to a nice seafood dinner if it was taking you out somewhere.
But I mean, if it did take you out to a nice seafood dinner, Tim, it would probably make you pay for it because it has a 9 charisma, which is -1.
Yeah, still not great.
Nobody's perfect.
You might go for a nice like date with it, and then it has like some problematic opinions or something, and you're like, this was a mistake. I really should get off Tinder.
Yeah,
this is like with Optimus Prime.
Send yourself a text.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Vote for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, sorry. If you want like balance for the Optimus Prime thing, hang on.
Yeah.
This is Optimus Prime. Brexit means Brexit. Was that good? Is everyone happy now?
That's perfect, Daniel. Thank you.
All right, don't worry. I've world peaced with my Optimus Prime impression.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, let's eat some dessert. Let's get out of the seafood dinner already and eat some dessert.
Yes. Wow.
Maybe cancel the date, head home, just open up a tub of ice cream or something.
Ooh, nice.
There will be the Mesozoic, the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the Cretaceous. You're welcome.
Welcome to dessert. We're here. We're in front of our tub of ice cream.
Someone's filled mine with dinosaur bits.
Man. All right, guys.
Are they cooked at least?
So dinosaurs are pretty cool. Do you guys put dinosaurs in your D&D settings? Do you guys like? Do you mess with that, or do you think it's kind of like let's not put dinosaurs in here?
No,
What do you guys think?
No, man, that's black magic. That's asking for trouble. You've seen Jurassic Park most recently. You see what happens.
I mean, you should watch Jurassic Park, DC. It's pretty clear that dinosaurs were a bad move.
That's true. I did.
So.
I did watch it last night, pretty late, to be honest with you, and it was scary.
In a painkiller fueled haze.
Yeah, but that was this morning. I was perfectly sober for my Jurassic. I'm perfectly sober for every Jurassic Park viewing I have, and it was pretty bad. But to be honest with you, D&D, you have like angels flying around and Balors that we just talked about, and
like literal demons.
Yeah, I think a dinosaur is fine. You can deal with that. But yeah, I like dinosaurs. They're pretty cool. I like putting them around the place. Well, not around, maybe on a dinosaur island.
I was gonna say,
on pretty much, I would, because the idea of that Island of Dread, is that what it was called? What we talked about in the start. I love that idea. Just an idea of an island full of stuff like this, where adventurers go and they have to survive there, and that's it. It's
the place that time forgot, basically.
Exactly. It's just really cool.
Well, I like dinosaurs. I think that they're a cool, compelling adventure, basically. I don't think they'd be a good, monstrous bad guy to have as your final fight. This is I think that they really hit the nail on the head with the Isle of Dread to have these guys be a part of an adventuring party, because if you're going up against something on an adventure, you either have a goal in mind already, with your big demon boy or your bad wizard or bad head or something like that. But if you're just exploring a cool
Sorry. No.
But if you're just exploring these new lands, these virgin pastures, essentially, there's nothing better, I think, than wild creatures like Kong or like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Make your own version of Skull Island and put dinosaurs on it. Hooray.
Maybe it's
everyone's happy.
Maybe it's like the first Tomb Raider game where you find a dinosaur and you kill it and don't tell anybody about it ever again.
I'm an archaeologist of death.
Die, you. The greatest scientific bleh, whatever.
Yeah, that's all I can think of. Yeah, Die, the greatest discovery of our time. Good thing I brought these 2 guns from home and not a camera.
Yeah. They're a fun complication to your adventure, not the greatest villain in the world.
Yeah.
Just oh no, there's a dinosaur. Let's run away, and while these things try to eat us.
Maybe the greatest villain in the world created these dinosaurs to be able to survive in the new atmosphere. I don't know. That kind of proposes that you are living in the real world. Maybe it was Earth all along, and you're just playing with your characters in the post-apocalyptic, crazy, magic-enabled world.
A bit too high concept for me.
Too much. Bring it back in.
Yeah, bring it back in there, man.
So, are we gonna Matrix room these guys, or they're all just kind of slap fights?
I think we could very briefly do it, but I think it's fair to say that they're all slap fights.
Yeah, they're very much. It's a very simple fight for all of them, I think.
Yeah, the Ankylosaurus and the Triceratops are even predators, so they don't really have any interest in fighting you except for for defending their young or themselves. And then obviously the rest of them are predatory, so they would go after you for food. But there's an argument to be made that it's going to be a slap fight anyway, and you can always have it that a creature, an animal especially, is not supernaturally driven to kill a party member. Yeah. So if a Plesiosaurus with 68 health is bloodied, to use the 4th edition nomenclature, bloodied means below half hit points, you could argue that it just decides this is more trouble than it's worth and leaves.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, they still get the experience by the rules of the game, because they overcome the difficulty.
If it's in the Matrix room, it'll just call on Forest. It'll be we need more Forest. Give me Forest, please. And then it'll disappear into it, and maybe it'll stop and eat some of the leaves. I
think all the monsters that we have here, all the dinosaurs, are fairly straightforward, kind of big, burly, meaty. They all have a good number of hit points for their CR and relatively low armor, which is a good thing because that means the players get to hit them a lot and they can take the hits for a while.
Yeah. It would be great to put these guys on a random encounter table, because They're just meaty. It's a fun encounter for any of them. If it's just not like a boss fight, but it's a regular encounter for like, medium level party, and you're on a Dread Island, then put these on a random encounter table, and then whichever one of them they fight, or whichever combination or whatever quantity of them fight, it'll be fine. It'll be a fun slap fight, but it wouldn't be the most memorable, intense tactical fight ever. It's just you're fighting a T-Rex and you're hitting until its hit points go to 0. That's it, really. So
I think fighting a dinosaur is iconic enough. Like that is a memorable thing to be doing, even if you are just doing it in a big blank space. Like fighting a Tyrannosaurus Rex is always going to be cool. Fighting alongside a Tyrannosaurus Rex is even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. The old challenge rating 8 is a pretty late game for someone to be doing as a druid, or is it their level?
It's not their level. That is polymorph you're thinking of.
Right. Polymorph.
It's their level in CR is polymorph, I believe.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So the T-Rex is the best thing you can polymorph into, because at least in the monster manual, it is the highest CR beast, because polymorph you can only turn into beasts.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's another point. Like the beast type thing is a good marker for the things that would make sense in the kind of Dread Island context. Like you were talking about how they were the kind of big meat bags with some relatively low armor. Like the beast moniker is a good one to be using. Like the beast tag, essentially.
Oh, right. Sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because they are.
No, I just got confused when you said moniker. I was like, what?
Because they are beasts. Yeah, they're just like things that want to eat to survive, and that's it. They're unaligned. They weren't made by anything. Well, unless you have it in your setting. But they're just animals basically, because they're just really old animals in the real world. So,
but they suit the monstrous kind of needs of D&D pretty well.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally. In terms of, just to answer your original question, DC, I do have dinosaurs in both in the shared setting that I have and also in my own setting, but they are limited to basically the more heavily forested areas, specifically in the south east. There's a large rainforest, and they would be found there, for example, because that's kind of a really like humid, temperate area that would kind of suit them.
Yeah. Like that is a different kind of atmosphere to probably the rest of the world, which is relatively temperate.
Yeah, it gets hotter as you go further south, but generally, like, that'd be pretty warm, like warmer than the rest of the region by a fair amount.
Yeah.
And I'd probably also chuck the water dinosaurs just anywhere where there's water. I probably wouldn't be too picky about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Just to have them to be the great beasts of the sea alongside the kraken and stuff.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. There's so many dangerous sea animals in D&D already that, like, throwing another one in there isn't a big deal. Like, the Plesiosaurus is only, like, obviously it's a big deal for the players, but realistically, it's a challenge rating 2 monster. Like, dragon turtles can eat it, krakens can eat it, like I don't know, megalodons can probably eat it.
There's always a bigger fish, Daniel.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Have you seen that film?
Absolutely.
Star Wars
Behind Enemy Lines?
The first one. Star Wars.
Is that the one with Rey, and she's like, that's not how the Force works, and then
Han Solo was like, yes,
and then he said, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi says, hello there.
All right, but it just makes a lot of sense to put dinosaurs in a setting for me, because D&D, you want to have a lot of monsters for your players to fight, because players got to fight something. They got to help the world somehow. So if there's like, giant oozes going around, and if there's like krakens in the water, there's no reason not to put like a T-Rex in a heavily forested area, But
yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think.
It's worth remembering as well. Yeah, it's worth remembering that even though they are big reptiles, they were warm-blooded rather than cold-blooded. So they can survive in like kind of slightly chillier regions. Like you don't have to go like as far south as say the Amazon for there to be dinosaurs. They could be kind of in somewhere like France, like a French climate, somewhere with a bit of heat, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what should we do next? Should we talk about adventures, or should we monster hunter them, or should we both?
Well, does anyone have any ideas for adventures other than the classic King Kong Dread Island idea that we kind of already discussed, really?
I like the idea of sort of. I almost like the idea of like twisting dinosaurs upside down a bit and sort of going away. So like the Isle of Dread and obviously Jurassic Park, which is a big influence. Yes.
Needs work.
They kind of have they have a trait in common, which is the idea that like sort of dinosaurs are like this primal, animal that's like very like dangerous and maybe even beyond human control. So I kind of like the idea of twisting that on its head and sort of creating like a group or an organization or even a civilization that tamed dinosaurs, where like maybe dinosaurs are slightly, not necessarily completely, but like slightly everyday in a way, like using triceratops to like plow fields and things like that. I don't know exactly where the adventure is, but I'm just thinking about the idea of like getting people's expectations and twisting them in a way that still lets the thing be there and is interesting.
Yeah, just for like world building it's a cool world building idea. Like I love the idea of using any of these guys as a mount, like a Triceratops as a mount. That's rad. An Allosaurus as a mount. That's rad as well. T-Rex. I don't need to tell you about that one. Like it's just an awesome idea to make these guys as as you said, Dan, actually, because I'm disagreeing with you here, making them a little bit more everyday. That's a cool idea. So.
Yeah, and then like folding into the world. Actually, in terms of like kind of incorporating the Isle of Dread, but letting you do something different, which also totally leads into you getting a mount. A cool adventure hook could be you're basically stealing Jurassic Park at this stage, but that's fine because everyone's going to be into it. You just have an island of dinosaurs, right? You could literally steal the Isle of Dread and say it has the rules of the Isle of Dread in 5th edition, which is it's part of the plane of water, but it shows up in the material plane sometimes, right? And some like sage has found out that it's showed up, and they're like paying you to get to the island and retrieve eggs of the dinosaurs because like they're extinct in your world or they're very rare. And so then he's like, if you get me those eggs, like I can research them and understand these creatures. And then like if you bring enough back, he's like, and I'll give you one as a mount too. And then you get to like raise a little dinosaur and get it and turn it into a mount.
That's cool. I like that.
Maybe the island that you were expecting to find them on actually has no dinosaurs on it. And
oh man,
around it. Yeah, right.
That's the first time in
what a total bummer.
Yeah, the first time in Creature Club where we say, "Oh, well, here's the monster. How about for an adventure we not use the monster?"
I brought some demons from home.
Dinosaurs episode. Okay, so what if you go to a dinosaur island and there's no dinosaurs? Ooh.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
But
yeah, sorry, Tim. Please.
And what if there are these little gemstones kind of scattered all over the island, like? I'm kind of leaning into the idea of the what are they called? The elemental stones, I think they were.
Yes.
Elemental gems.
Yeah.
And that kind of harkens to Jurassic Park with the amber thing, where all the dinosaurs have been turned into these gems by something. And that could prompt some kind of mystery. Like maybe somebody ran a crazy island-wide experiment on this island famous for dinosaurs, where he basically cast a spell that over a large area turned all the creatures into these gems, into these stones, and then maybe they got like spread out around the world and nobody knows that they have dinosaurs in their pockets. That could be kind of cool. Yeah.
Is this the plot to the anime Dinosaur King?
I don't know, is it?
I'm like
there's an anime called Dinosaur King.
I need to look up the anime Dinosaur King. Please hold briefly. Our
I'm doing that
operators
too, man.
value your time.
Dinosaur. Oh,
That's
yeah, actually, I think I heard
really?
this.
I'm almost positive. The TV series. Okay, let me see here. It ran for 1 year, so that's not a good sign. See full summary. Okay, let's find out. Okay, let's
How's it
see.
Did I just accidentally...
Here we go. Max Taylor is the son of paleontologist Dr. Spike Taylor and is a fan of dinosaurs. Who isn't? Upon falling out of bed one morning, he sees something crashing into the woods. With his friends, fellow D-team members Rex Owen and Zoe Drake, they find a strange stone and an egg-shaped capsule containing a Triceratops card. When Max rubs a lightning-marked stone and the Triceratops card, the card turns into a real Triceratops. When he rubs it again, it turns back into a card. The third time it happens, the Triceratops appears as a hatchling, and Max names it Chomp. Yeah, this is the plot of Dinosaur King.
It's based on a arcade
Oh my
cabinet.
god, I did it.
Really? Yeah, that was later made into a Nintendo DS game. But it's like it's like a card collect. You know, in Japan, they love their card collecting arcade cabinet games.
Yeah.
So this was one of them where you just got dinosaurs, and that's pretty rad. So I guess they made a TV show out of it, an anime series. Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
I did not know that that was the thing. Like, I was trying to, like, subvent everything that we want to recognize while still hearkening to it with the little gems and the amber. And wow, that's already a thing. I'm on the same wavelength as whoever came up with that TV show, which is kind of cool. Maybe I can come up with some TV shows that'll only run for one season and then fail.
Maybe, yeah.
If I can convince somebody to give me enough money to run a TV show, that'll be pretty cool. I'll be pretty happy with that.
Do you want some money, Tim?
Oh, hell yeah. To make a TV show or not to make the TV show?
Yeah, here's some money to like not think about making a TV show. Yeah, well, that's a cool idea, Tim.
Thank you.
That goes into like I love summons in my games, so that can just be summoning really, and that's a form of it. I have a similar concept where a lot of my summons are based on jewelry or gems or stuff like that, like elemental gems as well. So that would just like be right at home with it. So that's a rad idea, Tim. That's cool. I might steal that one from you.
And just like the elemental gems, when you're finished with them, they go back to the elemental plane of fire or water. When you're finished with the dinosaurs, they go back to the elemental plane of the dinosaur.
Yeah, elemental plane of dinosaur, yeah. There's fire, water, dinosaur, and earth.
and heart, obviously.
Of course. Anybody else have any nice wordy words to say about dinosaurs? I mean, everybody has good words to talk about dinosaurs. But anybody have any final thoughts?
One thing I briefly wanted to touch on is, because we talked about the idea of making dinosaurs more everyday and the idea of them being mounts, but we didn't finish that thought, which is the military application of dinosaurs. I know it's the plot of the last 5 Jurassic Park movies, but it's actually...
Daniel, you sound like a bad guy from a Jurassic Park film.
Yeah, I've got bad news. I am.
What if we have dinosaurs and we put guns on them?
But legitimately, without the idea of we have to breed the perfect killing machine that can't catch an 8-year-old girl or whatever. Instead of I'm just you see that Triceratops? Put a howdah on top of it. So basically, the Triceratops is like an Oliphant from Lord of the Rings, and then just fill it with archers and stuff like that.
It's an Oliphant.
And it's just it's an Oliphant.
The old gaffer's never going to remember this.
Believe
That's
me,
definitely
I think
the
is what he said.
Nope.
But yeah, he is. But that would be cool.
There's if you had an area in your world that dinosaurs are more everyday, where they're helping the farming, they're mounts as well. There's no reason to have them as mounts in the military. They have a super dino cavalry. Where they go on T-Rexes or Allosaurs and stuff, and different ranks get different dinosaurs, really. The super guys have a T-Rex, and that sounds pretty rad.
Yeah.
Or actually just training them and just sending them out to attack, in a war, putting them in the front lines, just go, T-Rex, attack that town.
Like Hannibal did with elephants.
Yeah.
Or a militant arm of a druidic organization.
Yeah.
And everyone's whatever, they're a bunch of forest hippies, and then your town gets overrun by allosaurs, and you're I regret the thing I said earlier.
It can make the druid seem a little bit more intimidating than it actually is.
That's all. That's just, I'm done.
That's a good idea, Dan. That's cool. That is very cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. Monster Hunter this monster, guys.
Let's
come join me. Come on in. There's room in the car.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I sat on your. Do you have a lamp back here? I don't. What?
I don't know why I have a lamp back there. You can just push it aside.
Okay, that's fine.
Right, cool. Any ideas for cool things we can make out of?
Do you have any gum?
It's in a little. You have to press that button.
Let me just reach. Let me just reach past the handbrake. You already don't need it.
I think they all have something to offer, basically. You know, like the Allosaurus, you can. What does he pounce with? He pounces with his feet. Maybe you can make shoes that give you that pounce ability, where if you run at a creature or an enemy, they have to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone, and then you get to use an offhand or unarmed strike against them. Like, there are people that it will definitely work better for, but I think that would be a cool thing to give them.
Yeah, that's very cool. Maybe you can get a claw. You can get a claw from it, and it can give you advantage to intimidating little kids, like at the start of Jurassic Park, that Sam Neill does.
Perfect. Ankylosaurus. I think there's a very obvious thing that you can do with that tail. Just turn it into a giant hammer.
Yes.
Big old weapon stick, and maybe don't give it 4d6.
Yeah, but give it a regular old great hammer or something like that.
Maul or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
maul, and then maybe it actually just has that. It must succeed a DC 14 strength saving throw, or you're knocked prone. Maybe it's just like you get that ability with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool, like a special one.
Mm-hmm.
You could also use an Ankylosaurus's like hide to let the way druids can't wear metal armor.
Oh yeah.
They could like take an Ankylosaurus's hide and make like Ankylosaurus plate with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Which would be fun.
You can use he's huge, but you can maybe make a shield out of its skull or something, and then you just have really heavy armor.
Yeah, it would probably be one of those items that like prerequisites a certain amount of strength.
Well, plate mail already does that, so you can just
exactly.
base it on that.
All right, next one.
Plesiosaurus.
You can make flippers from his flippers.
Yep.
And they give you his swim speed.
Ooh.
And that's fun.
You make a little amulet out of its like larynx or something that you like put into your mouth whenever you want to go swimming, and then you can stay underwater for an hour.
Oh, that's fun. It's almost like a little like scuba kit. You put it in your mouth and breathe through it instead.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Like
I
in
like
Futurama, where they have those weird breathy things.
Because we all know that we're going to be swimming in our D&D games. Is that right, guys?
All times, right? Constantly. Not much more with the old plesiosaur.
Well, I was going to say I like the idea that you can, make like say a mantle out of it, or even maybe hide armor, and that gives you its stealth bonus, or maybe gives you advantage to hiding in water. Which is kind of weird, but makes sense.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
Especially if you're running it in a similar setting to yours, Daniel, where you're in a rainforest, there's going to be a lot of water around. You can just hide in puddles.
Just fall over. Don't move.
Hide your heat signature.
This mud. We're not fighting Predator. It's a T-Rex. Quickly. Watch out for his bazooka. No,
it doesn't see heat. It sees movement. Don't we know this already?
It has a fucking bazooka. Oh man. All right, the flying guy, the Pteranodon. I'll piss.
I'll piss myself.
All right. I think the sensible stuff would be if you had a cape made out of its wings. Maybe it gives you a fly speed if you can enchant it, or maybe it just lets you feather fall. But either way, it would be cool if it maybe gave you something similar to flyby, and maybe instead of not provoking, it gives disadvantage on attacks opportunity against you.
Yep, that's perfect. That's what I was going to suggest. Nice.
Yeah.
And then
maybe you can use its beak as a dagger, or like a sword or something, or like a rapier, perhaps if it
big
pokes.
Horn thing as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm picturing a super survival adventure where you have no weapons and you're washed up on shore on this dinosaur island, and you got to make weapons somehow. So maybe you make a spear out of one of these guys' beaks. You know, that's a cool. But
Is this
I don't
survival game the D&D setting?
maybe I haven't played that game.
It's very, very popular. It's crazy.
I don't play popular games. So.
Survival Evolved. Yeah, it's basically that. Like,
Is
you
that
were dropped
Minecraft?
into this
It sounds like Minecraft
island
to
of
me.
dinosaurs. Yeah, it's Minecraft dinosaurs.
Minecraft.
Yep.
Minecraft Steve.
Minecraft.
Yeah. Anything else with this guy?
Canada.
I don't think so, but it's the smallest animal, so I don't think we have to worry about it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not too much stuff on it. Triceratops.
Triceratops. She has some nice tops.
I got a kind of a strange idea. Maybe you can use its head as like a put in front of your ship, and it helps you out for ramming.
As like a figurehead?
As like a figurehead, yeah.
That's very cool.
Ooh.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I found gear to upgrade our ship. That's nice.
It's on. You have to go to Dinosaur Island.
If you do my side quest, you'll get +1 ram damage when you use your ship.
I don't know. That's very specific.
I'm actually kind of good.
We don't really ram anyway. The ship's very expensive to keep and
It's
maintain.
very expensive, and also we have cannons.
Yeah, it's very specific, but there you go.
I like the idea of using its skull as like a great shield. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a shield that has some sort of like you need 15 strength to even wield it, but it gives you that trampling charge option where
Yeah.
you can run at someone and knock them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be the size of
I haven't-
you, though. That's the thing. The head.
I mean, yeah, but you know, well, you
I
could
feel
be like a Goliath or something. You could
Yeah.
be a big enough creature.
maybe you can just
or you
make
could
it
just
into
be wicked strong.
make it smaller as well.
Yeah, or in fairness, you could have it be that it's a two-handed shield.
Yeah.
So it's like a two-handed shield that you charge people with. That you just drop it and swap to like a sword and
Yeah.
knock at them. But what were you gonna say?
I had this cool idea where you just have a bag of holding and you just drop it out of it and like dove on the ground, and then all right guys, time to ram into this door or something, and then you use it to ram in, and then you ram through the door with it. Cool idea.
Use it as a battering ram.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Or if you wanted to be like super weird, you could turn its entire skull into a breastplate, and then when you charge people, you get the ability.
You just charge at them belly first.
Yeah. You just run at them and you got the big strength.
Maybe you can make a cool lance with its horns. And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
you get a
yeah,
similar
yeah.
ability.
That's cool. Or you can. I like the idea that maybe like you split the skull in half into like two like arm weapons, and then you can bring them back together to charge someone, or like bite them and then close it over again, and it's like basically like two full arm weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
But other than the head, which we've used a lot, poor thing.
I was trying to think of something else as well. You put on its feet and then you can stomp things. Stompy, stompy, stomp.
Just
Stomp.
well, like you could make like you could make boots out of its bones or something to give you the stomp ability, or like maybe like slightly more like inspired by it, like boots that are made out of its feet, and rather than like just doing a stomp attack, you can like do like because the Triceratops is so big, you can like stomp on the ground and it causes like tremors, and everyone nearby has to save or fall prone.
Yeah. Or you could make like bracers out of it and do the same thing.
Yeah.
Or like you get the bracers and you can disrupt people, or your unarmed attacks get a bit more damage.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah, sort of a fun like choose one, but it's better for certain people in certain classes. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly more diverse.
You could have it so that maybe what might be kind of fun is you could always make it into like a chest piece that, rather than granting you any like active abilities, just gives you the Triceratops strength score, because then you're just like wicked strong.
Yeah. You know,
Like if it's
22
just, like-
strength is
Yeah, it's like-
substantial.
As you know, it maybe it's a breastplate made out of the Triceratops skull, but as long as you're wearing it, you get your strength score is 22.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily give you like a lot of stuff, but the one thing it gives you is like super cool and makes you like literally stronger than any normal person can be.
Yeah.
Which would be
Nice.
both sort of quite straightforward, but very exciting.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I want to cut up a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I just want to use him as a mount.
Well,
He
I
doesn't really have...
do. Haha.
Don't touch my Tyrannosaurus Rex, Daniel. I just want to ride
I'm
him
sorry.
around.
So I touched it.
What can you do with a T-Rex, though? What can you do with one?
What can't you do?
No, but what can you do with a cut-up T-Rex, I mean?
I mean, I'll be honest. I just like the idea of doing the full, like wicked full armor set Tyrannosaurus Rex thing, where like you wear both parts of its skull as like bracers that like give you maybe like 1d6 slashing attacks, and then you get like armor made of its body and like claw boots and stuff like that. But then like once a day you can just turn into a T-Rex.
I feel like something like that will be well used for an NPC, like a giant NPC. Like they are the dinosaur guy,
Man.
basically.
I'm the dinosaur man.
I'm Dinosaur Man.
I am the Eggman.
Could you?
Because like him being a huge beast, it's like everything is going to be way oversized for a normal character. So like you have a giant who has like the Tyrannosaurus Rex ribs wrapped around his ribs, as you said, the skull split into two powerful greaves, and like he wears the tail just for the fun.
Yeah, just for the sheer hell of it.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe these giants have like, maybe they're like a tribe of giants that hunt them for as like they're like a hunting clan or something, and like the ones have trophies like a T-Rex, they put it on them. So
Totally.
even though
me.
a lot of giants can probably take on a T-Rex no bother by themselves.
Yeah.
Hang
They
it
were
up on your
powerful
wall
enough.
if you be one of, I don't know, it'll be cool. It'll impress your friends. It'll be a cool topic at a dinner party in your D&D game.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that T-Rex head? Oh, funny story actually. We shipwrecked on Dinosaur Island. I know. Weird.
Ooh.
One
It just
time,
seems to pop up, doesn't it?
I like the idea of maybe a piece of armor or even a consumable item, like some sort of like T-Rex like potion, basically, that maybe lets you like gain a D4 plus 4 temporary hit points, like as if the T-Rex was spending a hit die,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and you gain that as like temporary hit points when you take a swig, and then maybe, I don't know, you can do a big roar, or you just bite someone and they're like, ah, why?
Yeah, maybe you can get like you gain its aggression, maybe, and you can kind of get like a reckless attack or something from it.
Oh yeah.
Or you,
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or multi-attack.
yeah, or it's multi-attack, maybe just kind of are just a bit better. Just for a moment.
No, you get the Tyrannosaurus Rex. You have to bite someone and then use your tail.
Yeah. Or you
you
turn
have
to
a
a
tail.
T-Rex. Maybe you can, any of these beasts, like, this actually goes for any of these monsters. Maybe you can make a potion that you can turn into them. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. I think that a party kitted out with all of the things that we've suggested would probably be a very effective team, because you have a lot of stuff that knocks things prone, a lot of stuff that activates effectively on something that is prone, and then like quite a bit of stuff that will get, like, there's not much, or there's no long range stuff that we kind of came up with. So like when someone is prone, you get advantage to hitting them from up close. This would be a pretty effective kit for a party to have,
and
if you want to play the dinosaur world.
yeah, and all you gotta do is go to Dinosaur Island just once and kill them all, and and
The
hunt.
Dinosaur Island DLC.
Yeah, buy it now. There, you have to activate it. You have to go to a guy at a boat, like outside the main city. And he's like, "Hey, I have a boat here. I'm gonna go to Dinosaur Island. You want to come?" It's like, you weren't here before. That's weird.
It's weird. Also, you don't seem related to anything else we're doing. That's kind
Yeah.
of strange.
You need 13 Tyrannosaurus Rex skulls to create this armor, but there's only 12 left on the island. Well, that sounds like your problem.
You gotta do New Game Plus, man.
New Game Plus.
Anyway,
I like the idea that you have an Allosaurus mount and you kill a T-Rex and use the T-Rex to make armor for your Allosaurus.
Ooh,
And that's cool.
Cool. They have the same armor score though.
Yeah, I know, but like the T-Rex is bigger, so like its parts would fit over the Allosaurus's part. Like the T-Rex skull would fit over the Allosaurus skull.
Just give the Allosaurus like a +2 or something.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Like it's just barding, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
But yeah, I just thought that'd be cool.
It would.
And then maybe like once a day, it like temporarily upgrades into a T-Rex or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It absorbs the armor and becomes
Just
a
that-
T-Rex.
A quick little evolution during a fight, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. That's cool. Dinosaurs are pretty rad, guys.
They
They
sure
are.
are.
Don't be afraid to throw them into your D&D world, because I'd say when you throw a dinosaur at your players, they're like, they probably have a smile on their face, because dinosaurs are cool and it's always kind of iconic when you're fighting any kind of dinosaur, but mainly a T-Rex. Make sure you throw a T-Rex in there at some point if you're going to do dinosaurs at all. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for listening to Creature Club with us as your hosts, as usual. If you guys liked what you listened to, please consider subscribing to us on whatever you listen to. And also, quite recently, in case you haven't found out, we are now
Oh,
on
yeah,
Spotify. So
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
if you prefer to listen to us on Spotify, now's your chance. Make sure you look up Creature Club Podcast, because that's the name of the show. So Creature Club Podcast is the name of the show. It's on Spotify now. Listen to it. Give us a follow. There you go, for your listening pleasure.
Fantastic.
And you can go on our website, www.creatureclubpodcast.com, to leave a comment, to check out our episodes, to send in an email to us on the Contact Us section. You can send in homebrews, as we always ask, because we like to put them in a homebrew special. That can be monsters, it can be spells, classes, races, abilities, whatever you got, throw them at us. We'll put them into a show later at some point. With your permission, of course. But I'd say if you're saying to us, you already sends permission.
Yeah, we had been saying that for a very long time, but we actually did it. So now you have proof that we are actually going to take action on our words.
Exactly.
Actual action.
We are on Twitter as well. Follow us at Creature Club Pod. Give us a follow. Let us know you're there. Ask us some questions. Whatever you want to do on Twitter. Whatever the kids do these days. Anything else, guys?
Well, there's the review that was left to us a long time ago.
Oh yes, let's do our review
Yes.
that we've been doing.
Our last review, or the next one in the series of what we have been reading, was one from Vexier via Apple Podcasts in the United States of America on the 9th of... it's the 8th of September 2018. The title is Love It, and he gave us a 5-star review.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very generous.
What a brilliant idea for a podcast! ! These guys give me tons of improv fodder for my sessions every show. They're personable and have smart ideas with a solid format and great research. Even a chuckle now and then. Winky face. I try to catch every episode. If you're a DM, you should too. And there you go. That is high praise.
It is,
Yeah, I feel inadequate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vexier.
Thank
We're not,
you.
we're,
Thank
we're,
you very, very
we're
much.
not funny though. That's the thing. He's probably laughing at us.
Well,
I mean, that's
the
fine.
point.
Yeah.
We can be laughed at.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you so much, person. Thank you so much for the
Vexier.
review. And you guys can leave a review on iTunes as well. It helps us out on the ratings or whatever, and we'll read them out on the show when we get to you. Join us next week for another episode of something. Maybe we might go back to demons. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe.
We're kind of winging it at this point, guys. So you're along.
It's all jazz, baby.
Yeah, it's all jazz right now. It's so join us for another episode of something. I've been Mikey,
I've been Tim.
And I've been Dan.
that was a bit of a pause. Stay cool.
I was, I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure I go last, right?
Yeah.
we don't really have a. It's kind of it's all jazz, as I said. Stay cool.
Yes, groovy. Yes, play it. Yes.
Staying cool.
Dinosaur noise again.
We could do kind of like a fade that dinosaur out with, and then fade the music in. Crossfade.